So Gaston has a question, and he says, if he's already had success with restaurants, should he continue to pursue them even though that they are not typically the highest in margins and oftentimes are struggling? So that is an absolutely great point there. And so you really have a couple of options. So the first option is to leverage that success, and then now to take that success and take that into a different industry and say, you know what, I've done it with restaurants. Let me go to a space that is maybe tangential, that is close to it, like that maybe has a little more higher margin, like catering, or let me go to maybe like I don't know, bakeries or something like that. You may leverage it, or you may just say, you know what, I've worked with restaurants in the past, but you know what, they're not the best, so I'm going to go into the dentist space. And you can just say, we've worked with other businesses, we've had success, and all you need is just one dentist to believe in you, to be, one person in that new space to believe in you to switch spaces. So that's your first option. The second option, though, is that you can actually adjust your service offerings. So the one thing about a lot of these lower margin businesses is that there's oftentimes, like restaurants, a lot of them. And so what that means is that if you can create a product that is scalable and affordable, well, now that creates a lot more opportunity because there's so many restaurants, right? If you can create a product that, and you can create a chatbot that, let's say I'm here in the US, that every single burger joint can afford, that is scalable, replicatable, duplicatable, and is systematic, so that really you're not doing a whole lot of it. It's much easier to manage because it's kind of outsourced. Well, now all of a sudden you can lower your price, but it requires you to change your service offering, and it also requires you to change kind of the way that you fulfill, because you're not going to be able to do things as custom. You're not going to do things as integrated. You're not going to be able to do things as complex if you're going to be taking that route, because you're going to be looking to kind of go like the same way that McDonald's, right? They go low prices so they can have scale at volume. So that's your second option. The third option is to keep your prices, because I'd imagine that if you're in the marketing space, you want to, there's this illustrious kind of thing of having, $1,000 retainer, $2,000 retainer, whatever, $5,000 retainer, whatever. And I get it, I think that some people are driven by money. That's important for some people. The reason I say that, though, is that it's really, really important to realize that only certain amount of restaurants, only certain people are going to be able to afford those higher ticket things. And so you have to be realistic about that. You can't try and fit a square peg into a round hole. You've got to adjust your targeting. You've got to adjust your outreach. And most importantly, you've got to adjust your system to qualify and weed out all of the people who are not going to be ready and willing to pay for your services. So what that means is that you've got to either target people in better, higher income neighborhoods. You've got to target people, that have better economies around them. You've got to target certain types of restaurants that have higher margins. Maybe you go after only steakhouses, or like only sushi restaurants, or only maybe you go after only high-end restaurants, right? You've got to really hone in on your targeting. The next thing that you can do is hone in on your automation system and your qualification system. So it's going to be really, really important for you to have a way for these people to schedule with you, right? These people should be coming to you, and so they should be engaging with you in some sort of capacity. You should not be just trying to pry into their schedule, because you're going to want to create some sort of need, some sort of value. And so you're going to have to disqualify all the ones who are broke. You're going to need to weed out all the ones who don't want marketing. You're going to need to exclude all of the ones who aren't ready to get started. And that comes from your sales video. That comes from your sales website. That comes from all the other things, which we'll talk about, on the third step. But that's how you're going to adjust it if you're in an industry like restaurants, where the margins aren't necessarily as great as some of the other niches might be.